afternoon. Welcome to the Hacks News broadcast.
Today we have breaking news for all you avid viewers.
The Aral Sea.
Sorry I'm late.
Please welcome our informative and late scientist, Dr. Caitlin Brown.
As I was saying, the Aral Sea is shrinking at a dangerous pace. This could cause extreme changes in the environment.
Shrinking?
Yes, that is correct.
I can't believe it. Tell me about this.
I have been doing my research on the Aral Sea, and it has been shrinking since the 1960s. Only 38 species of the previous 178 inhabit the Aral Sea. All of these species were affected by the irrigational channel siphoning of water from the two rivers leading into this mother of water. The two rivers were built to give water to the cotton fields for better aquaculture. However, the people who built it were unaware of the effect it had on the Aral Sea. As water is removed, there is no water going into the Aral Sea, so it is slowly shrinking. The only plants that were left were cactuses and the vegetation that could endure the lack of water and had roots that went deep. Now our friend Hiromi has more information about how the shrinking has affected the food webs.
Well, I have been doing my own research on the food webs in the Aral Sea and found some pretty astonishing facts. Cotton fields were plentiful, and so was the surrounding sea life. In older information, you can see that the Aral Sea was full of carp and 22 different species of hungry fish. Humans who used the fish as food and made a steady living off of them and the aquaculture hunted these fish. Sadly, as the sea began to shrink and the people continued to fish, the fish soon disappeared. The cotton fields are still an area of income, but the fishermen and those who depended on the fishing moved away, drastically changing the original food web. The original food web looked something like this, where you had a lot of cotton fields, some carp, and some fish, and humans, each transferring the energy to each other. Today's food web is a lot different because it only has cotton fields and humans, since the fish and carp died off. Alyssa has done some research on the atmospheric effects and has some information she would like to share. Alyssa?
Thank you, Hiromi. The atmosphere has a great effect on the shrinkage of the Aral Sea. Humans, to this day, are constantly leaving wastes, such as trash, that heavily pollute the Aral Sea, which ultimately led to the alter of chemical composition of the atmosphere. This is through the buildup of greenhouse gases. Examples of greenhouse gases are water vapor, carbon dioxide, and methane, which serve as a screen in the atmosphere and traps heat much like a greenhouse. If these gases did not exist, many things would begin to freeze overnight. The increase of greenhouse gases traps more and more heat, which causes the rise of global temperature and the heating of Earth's surface. The increase of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere resulted in the global climate change, or global warming. The strong winds that blow the exposed land and pick up and deposit tens of thousands of tons of soil in the lake every year. This process reduces breathable air quality for close residents to the Aral Sea and affects the growth of crops nearby grown by farmers. The average air temperature of the atmosphere went up by 0.5 to 0.6 degrees Celsius and will continue to go up in the near future. Stina, does this give you a better view on why the Aral Sea is shrinking?
So basically, what you're saying is that the Aral Sea will continue to shrink. Through the information you have provided me with, I believe that the water from the two rivers that flowed into the Aral Sea is being taken away for irrigation of the crops. Places where fish lived are starting to disappear, making it impossible for the population of fish to increase because the space is getting too small for the fish population to be able to prosper. Within the last 35 years, the water level of the sea has decreased by 16 meters, and I expect it will continue to get smaller. Until the 1960s, there were more than 70 types of mammals and 319 types of birds, but now there are only 32 types of mammals and 160 types of birds in the Aral Sea region. The shrinking of the sea has caused the animal life around the sea to decrease greatly because there's not enough water for the animals around it to use. Due to the shrinking, I think that people will continue to leave the area around the sea.
That is a sensible prediction for this environmental disaster from the facts we have gathered about the Aral Sea.
I agree that I would be surprised if Stina wasn't correct in her projection.
Thank you for watching today's Hacks News broadcast. We hope you will tune in next time when we will have updates on Mrs. Wheeler's missing cat.
This is Stina Kopsky with Hiromi Kondo and Alyssa Rosen sending you off with new information about the Aral Sea.
And we're clear.